Welcome back. In this lesson we'll be doing the head, and I want to try and speed through this so I can pack in as much information as possible. I'm going to use the move tool just to get started here, and you can make the head in a separate model, but I prefer to make it in the same model because there are some disadvantages to that, but also I get to keep my subdivision history, which is really important to me. Yeah, the benefits kind of outweigh the downsides. Okay, so I'm going to use my clay buildup brush, kind of make it small, and I'm actually going to hit Shift D so I get a little bit smaller here. I'm going to draw out kind of the nose, keeping it pretty basic. I'm going to draw kind of the outlines of the eye sockets. And I can't really, keep spinning around because you can't really see what you're doing from the front. But from the side, you can. I'm going to draw kind of the area of the mouth, just the general shape where the teeth in the mouth protrude, and it doesn't have to be super, just kind of a mound. All right, I'm going to draw the ear, and I mean this is heresy in terms of polygon, placement and edge flow and stuff like that, but it works in the end, so I'm going to do it. And we can always retopo once again. There's some amazing tools for retopoing. Okay, so I got that. Now I'm going to turn off my floor and I'm going to do some general kind of surfacing planar stuff on this. So I'm going to mark some landmarks. It's kind of the mass of the cheekbone right there from like a skeletal point of view. Okay. And I'm going to mark this stuff in, and later on I'm going to blend it, the jaw. Actually, you can use the guide here for our jaw. Okay, and it's sticking out a little too much. We'll rein that in a little bit later. Okay, and we got our brows. The cheekbone kind of goes back to become the ear, and then we have these kind of shapes that go back. I'm going to use the trim dynamic brush that's BTD on a large setting, and I'm going to start kind of mapping out some planes. And the reason I do this is I just find that if I don't do this, my result in the end ends up like a little bit mushy. And you can use it with a negative. If you hold down Alt with the BTD, the trim dynamic brush, it gives you kind of a cool result. It's hard to explain. It's almost like a flattened brush, but if you play with it, you'll see it does this. It kind of brings out a form, so it helps you kind of create an edge instead of just taking away forms. Okay. Right here you can always see there's a diamond shape, and I'll show you that. I guess that's not really showing you that, but just this shape right here you always want to be conscious of. Okay. And this probably needs to be reined back a lot more. always go, especially when you're doing the face spin around your model, make sure that you're not getting pointiness. See that pointiness going on? Everything should kind of have a rounded. Look at the brows, look at the cheeks, look at the mouth. All right, so I'm kind of happy with where that is to kind of keep going. Control Shift click, and we'll just be working on the head here, which will be convenient for when we subdivide this. Show the whole thing, hit Control D. I'm going to subdivide it again. It's now at 8 million, or about 9 million polygons, which is great. And that'll give us enough detail, and we might go into HD geometry for this. So Shift Control click, and now I got the head, and now it's actually a lot faster to work with when I just see that one head. Okay, I'm going to, so like in a sketch, we want to set up the basics first before we start going into more detail. And you could do this on a lower subdivision level. In the end, it doesn't really matter. Okay. So watch this trick here. I'm gonna kind of lay out the lips generally from the front. I'm gonna go to the side and make sure they kind of match height-wise. Blend them in. Kind of looks like a fish now, but that's okay. Could smooth it all out, because the way we're actually going to bring these to life is, before I do this, I'm going to pull this up a little bit more, and I also want to go from the bottom and make sure I like the general shape of these lips before I add any more detail to them. Okay, so now that I got them roughly like that, you can go and do BDS, Damien Standard Brush, and with Alt held down, create a edge right there. Without Alt held down, we create a valley, and with Alt held down again, we create another edge right there. And you can see, depending on your pressure, you have something that looks like this. And from here, needs a little bit of tweaking for sure. Soft lip's going to be a little more, have a little bit less of that edge, and you might want to, if you follow this this drawing completely, it's going to look a little bit like a plastic surgery girl. So you might want to make her nose a little bit thicker. I'll show you guys how to do that stuff. But her lips are pretty sharp here. You might want to just mellow them out. I'll show you how to do that. If you want a softer shape to the lips, this is up to you how you want your character. Think about your character's personality. Okay. So we're pretty low detail here. We could subdivide again, but instead what we're going to do is we're going to go HD geometry because it actually won't let us subdivide again. So if I hit Control D, it'll produce a, if you're running some crazy rig, then maybe it will let you. But so if you go down here to HD geometry, where is it? Geometry HD. There we go. hit divide HD. I'm going to pause while this goes on.